Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. And today I am reacting to a video called If You're in Your 20s, Watch This. And what made me realize and pick this video is because we all make mistakes in our 20s, including myself. I think I made a lot more than others, but at the end of the day, we all make mistakes. And at the end of the day, we got to learn from them. And I remember a time where I used to say, man, I feel like I'm behind in my 20s because I'm not where I'm at, where I want to be as I am now in my 30s. And something told me, hey, it's going to be all right. Just keep going, listen to the right people, and you'll get there. And eventually that was for me was I had to learn in my 20s, I was listening to the wrong people. And then in my 30s, I started listening to the right people. And eventually now I'm on track. Yeah, because we all get off track. And that is okay. Even if you're 20, 30, or 40. And let's get into the video.
What I thought my 20s would look like was completely different from what actually happened. That decade was the most transformative phase of my life. And honestly, I made a lot of mistakes, big ones. And so in this video,
And I also did mention that too, transformative too, at the end of the day. So yes, so I can kind of relate to Nisha when she said the same thing, but I'm gonna get back to the video.
wanted to share what they were, what I learned from those mistakes, and hopefully it can save you from making the same ones. The first mistake I made was using money as a yardstick rather than as a tool. The idea is that there are really two ways you can use money, either as a tool to live a better life or as a yardstick to measure your success against others. For most of my 20s, I used money as a yardstick. I spent a big chunk of my paycheck on things like a nice car.
Yes, and I think that's for most people. I know for myself, I never really used money as a yardstick. I just focused on mostly getting bowling balls and focus on bowling. That's a lot of where my money went to, more of my passion, which didn't make money for me at the time, and I put it as a high priority. So yeah, I guess you could say most of my money went into bowling, which will be a yardstick instead of using it as a tool for me to invest and save more. And I guess if I started investing when I was in the pandemic 2020, I would have been in a better position and I would have more of a portfolio and had a better retirement than I actually do now. But this is why it's always important to realize, hey, I made a mistake. What can I do to fix it now? I can't control the past in my 20s. What could I do in my 30s to live a better life in my 20s? And that's how we have to look at it. If you like this video so far, hit the like button.
Expensive outfits, and other things that were loud and performative. I was making six figures at the time, working in banking, buying all these things that were really nice, but I felt empty inside, like I was living on autopilot and trapped in a cycle of just living for the next paycheck or the next material possession. And it wasn't until I hit rock bottom that I realized I needed to change something. And that something started with how I thought about and used money. I knew that if I wanted to walk away from the life that I was in and from the job that I hated, I needed to build a solid financial safety net to be able to take any other risks. So I stopped using money to buy things to impress other people and instead saved a huge chunk every single month. And eventually I had enough of a safety net to quit that job that I hated and pursue a life that I'd always dreamed of. I have a full video right here that goes into the details, but essentially that was the moment when I truly understood that money is a tool, and changing your relationship with money isn't easy, but when you use that money to build a life that feels fulfilling on your own terms, that's the most powerful shift that you can make. During that year of focusing on saving and setting up the right systems, there were so many creative ways I learned how to save money that didn't feel like I was constantly penny pinching or feeling restricted. So I'm running a completely 5-day savings challenge where I'll teach you some of the best saving strategies that will help you boost your savings by an extra 1K this month. The challenge is completely free to join. All you have to do is go to nisha.me/save. And by the way, we ran this challenge in June and over 50,000 people signed up. And we had this community where everyone was sharing their best tips and their best hacks. So I guarantee you'll learn one new thing that you can implement into your life straight away. It's completely free to sign up and there is a deadline to join. You could head to nisha.me/save for all of the details. Number two, taking one side. In your 20s, you're often bombarded with expectations and misconceptions about how you should be living this so called defining decade. On one hand, you're told it's all about enjoying life and finding yourself and soaking in every experience.
Yes, so defining the decade. I never heard this term. Maybe this is probably a term from the United Kingdom or the Europe, but here in America, I know we call it living like the Joneses. So going over this, what we say, defining the decades, enjoying life, finding yourself, soaking in new experience, which you should be doing that in your 20s and in your 30s and through the rest of your life, honestly. So let's just get back to what she's got to say about this.
And on the other hand, hustle culture creeps in and it tells you that these are the years or the golden window for working relentlessly, grinding while you're free from bigger responsibilities. And most people just feel like they need to pick a side. Looking back at my 20s now, I realized that there were at least 5 years or a 5 year window where I completely lost my balance and I dove headfirst into the hustle culture. I was laser focused on ticking all the boxes, getting my qualifications, climbing the ladder, landing what I thought was my dream job, only
Yes. And it's funny, I can relate to this because I took the habits of the hustle culture and still use it to this day, which I'm kind of getting slowly rid of now because at the end of the day, it's not about life balance. And this is why I've learned that you don't listen to people like Gary Vee and others because it's just not really realistic. It's about finding purpose, what brings you enjoyment, and what makes you want to get up in the morning every day instead of trying to make money. Now, some people, money motivates others, but for most people, they don't. And that is fine. And that's where we have to come and to understand that we have to find what works for us, not what someone tells us what they think that it should work for us, but really doesn't at the end of the day.
by the way, to discover that it wasn't my dream after all. And I placed this enormous pressure on myself and convinced myself that I had to have it all figured out by a certain age. I was so caught up in chasing the next milestone that I just lost the concept of slowing down and enjoying the journey because I just thought that all the happiness I need will come from these achievements. And this is what no one tells you. When you measure your happiness solely by your achievements, you're putting your joy in a box. And that box gets smaller and smaller until one day you look back and you wonder where the joy in the journey went. So if I could talk to my younger self, I'd say it's okay if it takes you a little longer to get to where you want to be. If slowing down lets you enjoy the ride more, then it is worth it. Number three, stop caring about what other people think of you. This is the thing that stifled my growth the most. It's the thing that held me back the most. And if I can tell you to take
Me too. This also helped me back the most either because I cared what other people thought, my parents and my friends and my teachers and even my bowling coaches. Because if I didn't do it their way, I would not be successful. And I come to find out it just didn't work. So I had to say, hey, what works for me? Let's do what works for Ronald at the end of the day. And that is okay. Because at the end of the day, it's just figuring out what works for you. And that's what I had to learn. That's what helped me not to care what other people think because just people are just being people and people just don't know what's best for them, unfortunately. So it's funny how they tell you what to do, but reality, they don't know what's best for them. And I think most people should follow their own advice.
one thing from this entire video, it would be this. Stop caring about what other people think of you because your life will look completely different when you do. I spent way too much time worrying about how I appeared to others. And it's why I initially picked a career that everyone around me seemed to be doing, and why I didn't start my YouTube channel for so long, and why I had to delete all my colleagues from LinkedIn before I posted anything. And sure, I'd love to tell you that just do what you want because no one is going to care and no one's going to say anything and no one's going to laugh at you. But that probably isn't true. They will laugh at you. They will make comments. They will talk about you. It's going to happen. But is that enough to stop you from living your life? And a quote that really helped me when I was going through this phase is, a millionaire won't judge you for starting a business. A bodybuilder won't judge you for working out. A professional athlete won't judge you for playing a sport. But it's always those people who are going nowhere who want to judge you for trying to do something with your life.
Yes, and this is beautifully said right here. And I want you to think about this. Look at it. Look at it for a second. I'm going to take a pause so you guys can look at it. and see how it's not the people in the field that you're trying to do makes fun of you. It's the people that are outside the field that are going nowhere make fun of you. And that's where the attention you need to focus on. And you know what? I'm going to let her finish this out.
The quicker you can snap out of caring what they think, the happier you'll be. Trust me on that one. Mistake.
And I'm going to end the video right here. And I'm going to add the link to this video. So if you want to continue watching these next steps of hers, I recommend it. They're really good. I'll put my link down below. And if you want to watch my next video, it's going to be up here.